In this video, we're going to recap Tennessee's 80-76 victory over UConn, a really big win for Tennessee and a bad loss for UConn. Flowers will be thrown at Tennessee and Kim Caldwell, as well as a bit of blame pie for UConn and what went wrong. I think there's a lot of pieces of pie to go around, and we will hand it out. Before we start, if you enjoy the content, then please consider subscribing to the channel and giving the video a like. So let's start this video by first giving flowers to Kim Caldwell and Tennessee. They finally got their breakthrough win after a lot of close losses to good teams, losing to number 9 Oklahoma by 1, then LSU, who's ranked number 6 by 2, then number 7 Texas at Texas by 4, and then going down to number 2 South Carolina by 7 points. But tonight they finally got their signature win versus UConn. If you just looked at the stats, you would have thought that UConn won because some of the areas you would expect Tennessee that would need to dominate in, they didn't. So the turnover battle, Tennessee actually lost 19-12. Points off turnovers, again, Tennessee 19 to UConn's 24. Bench points, Tennessee got 20 to UConn's 26. But there was one area in which Tennessee dominated, and that would be toughness, which is demonstrated in the stats by the rebounding battle, which Tennessee won 46-34, and they got 17 offensive rebounds to UConn's 13. In the postgame, Gino Auriemma was very complimentary of Tennessee, just saying they're tough to prepare for just due to the style they play. With all the substitutions, in addition, he's like, it's clearly the best Tennessee team UConn has played since Pat Summitt.
It hasn't been like that. You know, I think we've played them now, this is the 5th time or something since we started back up. So it wasn't like that the other 4 times, for sure. And they create a lot more problems for other teams now than they did a few years ago.
He made a joke, which was clearly a joke at the end of the press conference, that Caldwell should have been home with her baby.
And she should have stayed home to care for her baby.
I hope that's not taken out of context and turns into something. I don't think it will. If you're a Tennessee fan, you have to be over the moon. As you're playing tough teams tough, you got a signature win. Your team plays a fun style of basketball, and your coach can recruit, as she has the number 2 recruiting class coming in 26. But who cares about 2026, as if you can get a win versus Ole Miss and Kentucky or split those, then you think Tennessee would be in the top 16 and open up at home for the first 2 rounds of the tournament. Not a bad bounce back after things looked so bleak when Cardoso hit a 3 in the SEC tournament, when the previous coach decided to play a game of horse and see if Cardoso could hit the shot to win the game. Now let's look at the other side, the losing locker room. Now, to be honest, I'm in a bit of a bind here. If I defend UConn, I'm a UConn homer. What those people don't know is oftentimes I tend to irritate UConn fans who feel like I'm passive-aggressive versus UConn. What I hope to be or sound like in this video is that uncle that tells it like it is, and here's the truth. UConn's big players, Paige Beckers, AZ Fudd, they didn't show up. With Fudd going for 10 points on 3 of 9 shooting, Beckers for 14 points on 5 of 16 shooting, and overall that is just not good enough. You need more from your experienced players in a hostile environment. Sarah Strong, she's a freshman, but yes, she showed up going for 18 points on 8 of 13 shooting for 9 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks. She did have 5 turnovers. Now, I want to see how this season plays out, but I must tell you, I'm very curious about next season. And when she is the number 1 option, there's nothing else. Well, there'll be other players. But when she is forced to dominate, I want to see what she does next season. I think it might be pretty devastating. As I mentioned in the intro, there's a bit of blame pie to go around. So here we go. Let's serve up our pieces. We've already given some to Paige and AZ. The other one that obviously comes to mind is Ashlyn Shade. It was another big game, and she just couldn't hit a shot. And I was critical of her early in the season, just saying in the big games, you just don't know if you can depend on Ashlyn or not. She played 19 minutes. She went for 4 points on 2 of 9 shooting. The other player that struggled was Jana El-Alfi. So she only played 11 minutes as she got switched on one play, and it was just obvious they couldn't keep her on the floor as they were going to give up too many threes. So she played 11 minutes, going 1 for 4 for 4 points, and that's the problem because before the game they announced that Ice Brady is out with a left shoulder injury. She's in a sling, supposedly 2 weeks, but who knows? I don't think Ice's availability had any impact on this game. I think they would have tried her to see if they could have played her and if she would have done better avoiding mismatches like Jana El-Alfi, but at the same time allowing them to play tougher on the boards. Now, the last little slice of blame pie, I'll give some to Caitlin Chen. Her numbers weren't terrible. She played 21 minutes and went for 4 points on 1 of 3 shooting, but she's just not really having an impact on the game. And then this leads me to players that won't be getting dessert tonight, as KK Arnold, you do not get any blame pie. I thought you played really well. Looked like one of the most athletic players on the court, getting to the basket and just had energy all the way around. And I would have preferred you getting those Caitlin Chen minutes if possible. I know the way Tennessee plays, you have to rotate players, but I thought definitely KK's minutes, she got 25, were more impactful than Chen's 21 minutes, and it reflects in the numbers. She went for 11 points on 5 of 9 shooting, and she does what Gino Auriemma likes. Like, he likes knowing what he's going to get from players. What you're going to get from KK Arnold is somebody that's going to push the ball, take it to the basket, and play on-ball pressure defense. The last player that doesn't get any pie is Aubrey Griffin. This is her best game since returning from her knee injury. She went for 15 minutes, going for 9 points on 3 of 6 shooting, and she was just impactful. Just did all the little things that she does, which is playing defense, getting the occasional offensive rebound, and just being solid all the way around. Now, the last piece of pie goes to Gino Auriemma, so who am I to question him? But I just thought AZ Fudge shouldn't have been in the game at the end of the second quarter, allowing her to pick up her 3rd foul. That had a big impact as they went after her in the 3rd quarter, and AZ was basically having to play defense with her hands tied behind her back. The other one was the timeout with a minute 32 left, as it seemed like Paige Beckers was about to get a good look in the open court, and then they took the timeout, which lessened their options in the game. They came out of the timeout, and then straight away Strong threw it away on a back cut. I think it was trying to throw it to Beckers and overthrew her. So it just didn't work out. So overall, Gino needs to eat some pie as well. So overall, where is UConn? If you are a hater, then you're going Denny Green and saying UConn is who we thought they were.
But they are who we thought they were.
As they can beat the okay teams like UNC, Ole Miss, Louisville, and Creighton, but when they get in a really upper elite game like a Notre Dame or USC, they will struggle, and they will struggle in away environments when the situation is tough. If you're a UConn believer, then you say, hey, that was a tough lesson learned, but at least we get one more chance to prove we can play against the elite when we take on South Carolina at South Carolina. Hopefully Gino can figure out the players that should be getting minutes are Beckers, Griffin, KK, Strong, and Fudd, with the other players sprinkled in. But I'm sure there's a little doubt, and that centers on will Fudd and Beckers show up for a big game together and do what everybody thought they would do. And it sort of reminds me of the old Houston Rockets, and everybody used to go after James Harden, and I defended him, but there was always that little nagging feeling, man, when it's the playoffs, it just never seems to go well. Now, Paige and Fudd still have time to rewrite their legacies, but it's clear they are running out of time. Now I will leave it over to you for your thoughts, comments, and poison. Thanks a lot for watching. Have a great night.